Mike Vrabel is finally breaking his silence after shocking DNA results, turned his relationship with Dianna Russini into a full-blown NFL disaster. Now old photos, secret trips, and new allegations are resurfacing online, fast enough that people think this scandal could completely destroy the Patriots coach's career. Let me walk you through what's going on. On April 7th, 2026, Page 6 published exclusive photos showing Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel and NFL insider Dianna Russini holding hands and hugging at the Ambiente Resort in Sedona, Arizona. This was not some crowded press event. This was not a sideline interaction. Vrabel was spotted with the popular NFL reporter at a luxurious resort in Arizona. The two were secretly captured holding hands, hugging, and spending time together in a hot tub. Both individuals were married to other people with children. Russini has been married to her husband, Kevin, for 5 years, and Vrabel has been married to his wife, Jen, since 1999. The initial response from both parties was swift and dismissive. Russini pointed out in a statement that the photos don't represent the group of 6 people who were hanging out during the day, adding, like most journalists in the NFL, reporters interact with sources away from stadiums and other venues. Vrabel was even more blunt. He told the New York Post, "These photos show a completely innocent interaction, and any suggestion otherwise is laughable. This doesn't deserve any further response." Laughable. That was the word he used. And for a brief window, it appeared the story might fade away. But then a second batch of photographs landed, and those killed any chance of this being brushed aside. A second set of photographs showing the pair at a New York bar in 2020, during Vrabel's tenure with the Tennessee Titans, subsequently became public. These were not ambiguous images of 2 colleagues in public. An eyewitness told Page 6 that Dianna and Mike kissed at Tribeca Tavern, and the coach was wearing his wedding band. They claimed that the reporter's legs were between Mike's legs, and they looked very close to each other. The eyewitness noted that the two were all over each other and were having a glorious time. Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel gave each other pecks, while no one around them appeared to recognize them. Now the timeline starts mattering. The bar photographs were from March 2020. Russini married Kevin Goldschmidt in a small Zoom ceremony in September 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. That means those kissing photos were taken roughly 6 months before her wedding. And Vrabel, married since 1999, was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans at the time. The word laughable suddenly felt a lot less convincing. The Patriots initially pushed back against the first Page 6 photos, with Vrabel calling the report laughable before the second set of photographs changed his position entirely. The damage from the initial denial compounded the mess. Vrabel initially dismissed suggestions that his relationship with Russini was anything more than professional. His tone has since shifted as more photos have emerged, suggesting an initial lack of honesty. And the photographs did not stop there. TMZ obtained a picture of Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel at the Beau Rivage Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi in January 2024. An eyewitness told the media outlet that they were drinking and talking to others at the casino. Casino photos from 2024, bar photos from 2020, resort photos from 2026. Every few days, new photos of Vrabel and Russini surfaced, some dating back years. Whatever was happening between these two was not a recent development. The evidence was painting a picture of a relationship that stretched back at least 6 years. Tuesday marked 4 weeks since Page 6 first published the Arizona photos. And from the moment that first photo dropped, neither Vrabel's life nor Russini's career would be the same again. Within days of the photos going viral, the professional consequences hit, but they hit unevenly, and that disparity became a storyline of its own. Dianna Russini, who had spent 8 years at ESPN before joining The Athletic as a senior NFL insider, was the first to pay a professional price. The Athletic initially publicly defended Russini, but later faced internal employee outrage. As part of their own investigation, The Athletic sought more evidence to substantiate her claims, which Russini never provided, although she offered to have her bosses speak to Vrabel, only for the company to decline. On April 14, 2026, Russini resigned. She posted a letter on social media, and her words were measured and deliberate. She wrote that she was stepping down not because I accept the narrative that has been constructed around this episode, but because I refuse to lend it further oxygen or to let it define me or my career. After posting that letter, Russini deactivated her X account, and her Instagram page went private. She vanished from public life almost entirely. Vrabel's situation unfolded differently. The NFL declined to open an investigation into Vrabel's conduct. When ESPN's Mike Greenberg pressed Commissioner Roger Goodell on the matter during the draft, Goodell responded simply, "No, this is not a personal conduct policy. As we know it today, it's a personal matter, and we'll leave it at that." The Patriots issued their own statement of unwavering support. The New England Patriots fully support Mike Vrabel's decision to prioritize his family first, as well as his own well-being. Mike has been open with us about his commitment to being the best version of himself for his family, this team, and our fans, and we respect the steps he is taking to follow through on that commitment. So while Rossini lost her career, her platform, and her public presence, Vrabel kept his job, kept his salary, and kept the backing of one of the NFL's most powerful organizations. The disparity in professional fallout, Vrabel kept his job, while Rossini's career faces uncertainty, has added to the strain. But here is the thing about keeping your job in a situation like this. The job does not insulate you from the noise, and the noise was only growing louder. Vrabel finally spoke publicly on April 21st, 2026, and the way it happened told its own story. Vrabel wasn't on Tuesday's media schedule released by the Patriots at 4:35 p.m. Monday, and there was no announcement Tuesday morning that Vrabel would be breaking his silence after 2 weeks. It was supposed to be a sleepy press conference with 2 veteran players. There was a bare-bones media crowd by New England standards, with several regulars not in attendance. Those on hand were notified maybe 5 minutes ahead of time that Vrabel would be speaking instead of players. The Patriots also set ground rules on reporters. After Vrabel delivered his opening statement, he did a side media session in which reporters were ordered to turn off all cameras, including phones, and were told to ask only football questions. The whole thing was choreographed like a crisis management exercise. It was smartly designed and flawlessly executed, the work perhaps of crisis communications experts. Rossini reportedly contacted one shortly after being approached by the Post, and the Crafts reportedly hired one to try to kill the story. In his statement, Vrabel struck the notes you would expect. He said he had had some difficult conversations with people that I care about. With my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. He described those conversations as positive and productive. He told reporters that in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. He promised his family, the organization, and the fans would get the best version of me going forward. Then, before the 3rd day of the 2026 NFL Draft, he announced he would not be with the team. Mike Vrabel admitted wrongdoing when addressing reporters before the NFL Draft and said he would seek counseling. As I said the other day, I promised my family, this organization, and this team that I was going to give them the best version of me that I can possibly give them. In order to do so, I have committed to seeking counseling starting this weekend. He said, "This is something that I have given a lot of thought to and is something I would advise a player to do if I was counseling them." He missed day 3 entirely. In Vrabel's absence, the Patriots made 6 selections, as well as signing many rookie undrafted free agents. The draft picks included cornerback Caron Prunty, tackle Demetrius Crownover, linebacker Nnamdi Obiezer, quarterback Baron Morton, running back Jam Miller, and edge rusher Quintavious Hutchins. The head coach of a team that went to the Super Bowl a few months earlier, was not in the draft room. In some circles, the scandal overshadowed the NFL draft itself. If the photographs provided the spark, what came next poured gasoline on the fire, and it involved a child's name, a social media post, and a private boat rental in Tennessee. Rossini and Goldschmidt have 2 young sons, Michael Andrew, born in August 2021, and Joey, born in October 2022. Under normal circumstances, no one would think twice about a child named Michael, but these were not normal circumstances. Deanna Rossini had posted that she was looking at her 4-day-old newborn son, Michael, and thinking about the NFL's best Michaels to ever play and coach. She wrote, "Keep looking at my almost 4-day-old son, Michael, while trying to figure out who are the best Michaels to ever play and coach in the NFL?" At the time, it was an innocuous tweet from a football reporter with a new baby. Nobody batted an eye, but shortly after the Mike Vrabel controversy deepened, that tweet resurfaced. Her remark was overlooked as an innocent comment at that time. However, it has been interpreted in an entirely different way. The tweet resurfaced in April 2026 after the case intensified, following Page 6's newly released 2020 photos showing her and Mike Vrabel kissing at a New York City bar. The timeline is what made social media lose its collective mind. The kissing photos were from March 2020, Rossini married Goldschmidt in September 2020, and then in August 2021, she gave birth to a boy she named Michael, the same first name as the man she was photographed, kissing the year before her wedding. Her 2021 post on her son, written a year after the alleged 2020 encounter with the Patriots coach, led social media users to speculate on the timing of the affair and the paternity of her child. Then, on May 6, 2026, TMZ Sports dropped the boat story, and everything escalated to a level nobody expected. The NFL duo booked a vessel in Putnam County, Tennessee, back in June 2021, according to a source with direct knowledge, who also said the then Tennessee Titans head coach and the journalist were the only people on board for their 2 to 3 hour rental. Rossini was pregnant at the time. Her first child, Michael, would be born 2 months later. Documents obtained by TMZ showed that Rossini and Vrabel signed the company waiver. According to the report, Rossini and Vrabel seemed to be cautious when it came to having their photo taken during the alleged boat outing. TMZ reported that Rossini declined to pose at all with the staff, while Vrabel agreed to snap one pic, but allegedly asked that no images be publicly posted. 2 people, a private boat in Tennessee, 2 to 3 hours on the water, both appearing cautious about being photographed. One of them pregnant with a child who would later be named after the other. A source quoted by TMZ Sports claimed there was no public display of affection before the trip started, but by this point, the optics were so overwhelming that the absence of PDA barely registered. A week after the boat outing, Rossini posted an Instagram photo, seemingly of Kevin, on a New Jersey beach with the caption, "Lucky to have great people to spend this holiday with this July." The juxtaposition, a private boat trip with Vrabel one week, a family beach photo the next, was not lost on the internet. This boat revelation had immediate real-world consequences. After details of the boating trip with Rossini came out on Wednesday, the odds of Vrabel keeping his job took a sizable drop. Vrabel's odds of remaining the Patriots head coach for Week 1. On Betting Market, Kalshi were 77%, but by Wednesday night, it had dropped to 64%. And that is when the DNA conversation took center stage. Reports began circulating on May 6, 2026, that Kevin Goldschmidt, Rossini's husband, demanded a DNA test for his kids Michael and Joey. The claim spread across social media rapidly. Former NFL running back Le'Veon Bell reposted the report with the comment, "If it wasn't already interesting, it definitely is now." NFL insider accounts and sports media figures amplified it within hours. Some social media users and commentators pointed to the child's first name, the same as Vrabel's first name, Michael, and an old social media post by Rossini shortly after his birth that referenced notable NFL figures named Michael. The circumstantial chain was long. Kissing photos from 2020, a wedding in September 2020, a private boat trip in June 2021 while pregnant, a baby named Michael in August 2021, and a tweet about the best Michaels in the NFL. Rumors intensified after reports of the alleged long-running nature of Rossini and Vrabel's interactions with unverified calls for DNA testing. Neither Rossini nor Goldschmidt has publicly addressed the paternity speculation, which remains unsubstantiated gossip. It is important to note that key aspects of this story should be handled with care. The DNA test report originated from a social media account. As of right now, there is no confirmed, verified public statement from Goldschmidt or any attorney representing him that confirms a DNA test was demanded or completed. No lab results have been released. No court filings have been made public. No lab documentation has been released. What exists is a firestorm of speculation built on a chain of circumstantial details and unverified social media reports. But the impact has been enormous regardless, because this is not just about the facts anymore. It is about the perception, and the perception has been devastating. Kevin Goldschmidt, the husband of NFL reporter Diana Rossini, has felt sidelined for a long time and is grappling with what insiders describe as deep emasculation, following allegations of a romantic relationship between Rossini and New England Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel. According to a source close to the couple, the marriage has taken a serious hit in the wake of the scandal. Goldschmidt, a Shake Shack executive, is said to be dealing with public embarrassment, while still caring about Rossini and hoping to repair their relationship if possible. The source indicated the controversy might be what finally pushes things to a breaking point, though no divorce filing or other specific plans have been publicly disclosed. And then came the gut punch detail from an insider. Her marriage has taken a serious hit, and she's also dealing with the loss of Mike, who she genuinely loved, the insider said. That quote speaks volumes. It suggests this was not a one-time lapse in judgment. It suggests emotion. It suggests attachment. It suggests a relationship that was meaningful to at least one of the people involved. Meanwhile, the theory about how the Arizona photos were leaked in the first place added another layer of intrigue. A prominent sports radio personality, Jared Stillman, shared that a source close to Deanna told him that her husband, Kevin Goldschmidt, hired the PI and leaked the photos. According to him, it was a revenge move by Kevin against Deanna, with no financial motive. He mentioned that Kevin is very affluent and wouldn't aim to get money by putting a PI on his wife. That left Jared with the other most probable motive, defaming Deanna and paving the way for a smear campaign against her. If true, this means the entire scandal, the photos, the fallout, the career destruction, may have been orchestrated by Rossini's own husband. Stillman shared that if Deanna's husband actually plotted the entire PI thing with vindictive thoughts, then he had succeeded in it, as the alleged affair with Mike Vrabel probably ruined her career. The radio host felt Kevin had done a really good job in executing the plan. That is a staggering allegation, a husband humiliated by what he suspected was happening behind his back, allegedly hiring a private investigator and feeding photographs to the media to blow up his own wife's career and reputation. Again, this remains unconfirmed, but the theory has gained significant traction and adds yet another dimension to a scandal that refuses to stop expanding. Mike Vrabel is still the head coach of the New England Patriots. Deanna Rossini has no job, no public platform, and has been silent for weeks. The two families involved, the Vrabels and the Goldschmidts, are navigating wreckage that is deeply personal and entirely public. Vrabel's wife, Jen, has been described by insiders as embarrassed and heartbroken, though still open to counseling and trying to repair the marriage. Page 6 reported on April 29th that Vrabel and his wife, Jen, were together in Utah on April 26 and had dinner together. They were cordial and talkative, but not overly flirty, a source said. They seemed fine. It was a friendly, regular meal. The fact that a married couple having dinner together makes news tells you everything about how deeply this scandal has embedded itself. Inside the Patriots building, the situation has taken a visible toll. I can just tell you factually, he has not been the same the last 2 weeks in that building. The sense I've gotten talking to people is the bravado and everything else. I think this has taken a chunk out of that. The players, to their credit, have rallied around their coach. Patriots star cornerback Christian Gonzalez told reporters, "We aren't going to speak on what we talked about inside the building. But I mean, that's my coach. That's who I go out and play for. And he's proven what he can do as a coach." Drake May said, "We're here for Coach. We love Coach. What he does for us. What he's done for us this past year. You can't speak into words. Just thankful he's our head coach. I know he's dealing with some stuff off the field and out of the coaching world. We're here for him." Former Patriot Rodney Harrison, who won 2 Super Bowls alongside Vrabel as a player, offered perspective on how the locker room might process this. Harrison said, "The one saving grace, no matter what goes on in your life, has always been an NFL locker room. Those players are going through some of the same things Mike Vrabel is going through. With some of the temptations, some of the things that's out there, things they struggle with. So they have a great deal of empathy. So I think they'll understand. And they'll forgive Mike. But the question of whether he can actually survive this long term remains wide open." Mike Florio warned that Vrabel's Patriots job hangs by a thread, saying New England is one news cycle away from a coaching crisis that could derail their season. Florio's exact assessment was pointed. If Rossini decides to tell her full story publicly, and sources say she is leaning toward doing so, everything changes again. A source suggested Rossini has contemplated speaking out for several weeks, adding, "She is making difficult decisions on talking or not, but she is leaning toward talking. She has to get to a better place. She doesn't want to exploit her family anymore negatively. If it is done, it has to be done right." That is where things stand right now. Vrabel is likely to receive some backlash from any Rossini tell-all interview. And here's the reality of where things sit. For Florio, the accumulation of developments is what has made the situation so precarious. Each new piece of information, he argued, does not just add to the noise, but compounds the original problem. With each passing development, it becomes a little more problematic. Let us go back to where Mike Vrabel was 12 months ago. 12 months ago, Mike Vrabel was the hottest name in football, He took a New England Patriots team that had gone 4-13 in back-to-back seasons, overhauled the roster, won AP Coach of the Year, and delivered a Super Bowl LX appearance in his very first season on the job. Robert Kraft had made what looked like the hire of the decade, a man with 3 Super Bowl rings as a player, NFL Coach of the Year in 2021, after helping the Titans obtain their conference's top seed. For the first time since 2008, the 8th head coach to reach the Super Bowl in their first season, and only the 2nd person to reach the Super Bowl as both a player and as a coach. That was the legacy. That was the trajectory. And now the conversation is about DNA tests, private boats, kissing photos, and whether a woman's child is biologically his. The DNA test reports remain unconfirmed. Neither party has confirmed paternity results. No court filings exist. No lab documentation has been released. But the damage to reputations, to marriages, to careers does not require a lab result. The damage is already done. The court of public opinion has been in session for a month, and the verdict there does not wait for evidence. There are legitimate concerns about whether he can command the same respect in the locker room. It is also fair to ask how much focus he can devote to football. His name is in the news almost daily. The 2026 season opener is months away. Whether Mike Vrabel is still on the sideline when that day comes depends entirely on what happens next. And in this story, what happens next has been arriving every single week, each time worse than the last. At a recent Q&A with season ticket holders, Vrabel reportedly received a standing ovation, a reminder that for many fans, coaching results outweigh everything else. But standing ovations do not make scandals disappear. They do not make photographs unpublished themselves. And they do not answer the question that now hangs over everything. If those DNA results exist, and if they say what many on the internet believe they say, then the standing ovations will be the least of Mike Vrabel's concerns. And if they do not exist, if this entire paternity firestorm is built on speculation and a resurfaced tweet, then 2 families and 2 careers have been ripped apart in public over nothing more than a coincidence and the internet's appetite for destruction. Either way, Mike Vrabel's silence on the DNA question speaks as loudly as anything he could possibly say. And the longer it lasts, the louder it gets.